So you like to read, but you also like to game, and you're kind of in this in-between world. Well, I've got you covered. Let me open your eyes to a wealth of options in the visual novel genre. All these games would be an excellent starting point for you, but there's going to be different types. Ones that are plainly visual novels, ones that have other mechanics. So let's dive in. We're going to start off with a very new game in the genre, and oh boy, is this an excellent one. Available on the PC and Nintendo Switch, this is a very excellent horror visual novel. What I really like about this game is its oddities. Right away, I knew I was going to like this game. It does something within the first 30 seconds to a minute that I'm like, all right, I like this. It has this Metal Gear Solid effect. I'll just go as far as to say that. One of the things that really draws me to visual novels is the branching storylines and choice. This is one of those games. You have a very unique art style. You are controlling the camera in this one, and you're not just reading page after page, so I think this is a very good jumping in point to see how much complexity there can be. This game is super smart, and with the way they deal with gameplay elements, I think it's bar none one of the best visual novel games out there. This specific list isn't really tiered in any sort of way. I'm putting this one right here because you need to play it. It's newer, needs to get more love. A super clever, not super long visual novel either, and you're gonna enjoy it. And I was kind of a scaredy pants, and I did not like to play this game at night, because, scary stuff, horror games, makes sense. What a divisive game this one is right here. I'm not going to tell you too much about this game. Go in blind. You can do a free version on PC, or there's the Doki Doki Literature Plus on PS4, Switch, and all that goodness. Why is this game divisive? Because the visual novel community, like any community, and Reddit and all that jazz, is protective of their ideals. And people don't like that when a smaller game, very short by visual novel standards, comes in and kind of rises in popularity because, well, it's a really good game. And it's different than a lot of visual novels. It plays with your expectations and is you just don't see it coming in the best of ways, in my opinion. Ignore the haters and the gatekeepers. Play this game. I promise me you'll feel some things. I did not look up really anything about this game, like a lot of people told me to, and I found myself very much enjoying it. And just so you know, I might be held hostage, and I have to say these things about this game. What a smart idea for a visual novel. A very slice of life that you can play on your phone. That's why I played it back in the day. Florence is very, very relatable. It's just about relationships, and it has little tiny movements you can do to make it gameplay friendly for those people that don't want it to be a traditional visual novel. This is a very, very short game. It's about 40 minutes-ish. Didn't take me very long at all. Very cheap as well, so definitely check this one out if you're at all curious. And I think you are if you clicked on this video. Another Nintendo Switch and PC release. Loopers is a time-stuck travel story, we'll call it. This is a story about some characters stuck in a time loop, and it's a nice, short little visual novel. I think it took me 5.5 hours to finish this one, so this is a nice dipping your feet in, kind of checking the temperature. And again, I think just like in my normal gaming life, I like smaller experiences mushed in between my larger ones, and this is a perfect example of that. This is a more traditional visual novel setup. There's not really much choice. You're just experiencing the story, you're getting nice visuals along the way, and meeting some interesting characters. And you might be thinking, why would I do this when there's not really any gameplay besides mashing that next button? Cue that intro. You like games and you like reading. There you go. You get some artwork along the way. The game that started it all for myself, 999. 9 hours, 9 persons, and 9 doors. Man, this is back in 2013, my first visual novel experience, but not traditional visual novel. For the most part, you're going to be reading a lot of text, but you have an escape room puzzle adventure as your gameplay loop. But the best part is it's choice. There's a lot of choice and a lot of different endings, and this immediately hooked me, especially knowing that when I made a choice, somebody dies, and I'm just like, woo, okay, yeah, there we go. I love this style. I couldn't get enough of it, and I wanted to find the true ending right away. I think this is one of the more popular visual novels, but just in case you've never heard of it, it's very clever in its design. It does do a lot of info dumping, which visual novels kind of have to do once in a while, just like some books. But I tell you, if you're a fan of mysteries, of thrillers, and even if you don't care for the escape room parts, just look up a guide on how to get through them, and there's nothing wrong with that if you just want to get to the story and worry about the choices and how that's going to affect the outcome of the story. That is totally fine. I think you will have a blast with this game. That pun was not intended, but you do explode if things go wrong. Planetarian Chisana Hoshi no Yume is a very strict-forward visual novel, but it's only like 3 or 4 hours. This is available on the PC as well as the Switch, and I believe there's even an HD remaster now released. I think what initially intrigued me about this game was the initial setup of a war-torn world, and you follow the story of this soldier that runs into this place for safety, and things kind of slow down. I'm not going to really spoil anything here. Just know it's a very atmospheric game, very moody, and doesn't take very long to finish, so I think you should give it a shot. It pops up on a lot of visual novel top recommendation lists. And so I finally did it, and I think it was worth my time. Now this one is very much a hybrid of an adventure game and a visual novel, and it doesn't look like a visual novel for the most part, but it is. One of the best heartfelt stories out there, sprinkled with a little bit of comedy here and there. This is a story about the question, would you change something in your life on your deathbed if you could? So if there's a regret that you have, well, you can change it in a weird sort of kind of way. So you follow this man's life through all the different stages of his life, and you kind of fiddle with it. Gorgeous pixel art. Really like the doctor characters that you play as and the story that you're experiencing secondhand. And does a fantastic representation in this game, which I will not spoil here, but you will figure it out. Highly, highly recommend. And if you love this one, there is more to play afterwards, and that's always a great thing. Now, I said this list was not tiered in any way, you can jump in anyone's, but this is my favorite visual novel, and this is definitely my #1 recommendation. It is definitely more of a traditional visual novel where you just make choices and otherwise you're just reading the script as you go. But knowing that there was choices in how the story plays out, very simple by just texting people or answering certain phone calls during the game, my gosh. I was freaking hooked, and this wasn't my first visual novel. My first visual novel is in this list, so it's not a first love is the best kind of thing. But I just cannot get enough of this game. Now, the Vita version and the PS3 and 360 is the version I would recommend. I have not played the Steins Gate Elite. They do a little interesting thing where they actually take from the anime scenes, and you're playing through those, and you have like actual movements and stuff, which sounds really cool, and I do want to give that one a shot, but I'm coming off the experience of playing the Vita version. Phenomenal voice acting on the Japanese crew. But I assume Elite uses the dub from the anime, which is also super excellent. So you really can't go wrong either way. I 100% completed this one and got me super emotional. It gets dark in really good ways, not like super gruesome or anything, but it takes a turn here and there that I just did not see coming. I loved it. I cannot praise this one enough. And the best part is, if you love this one, Steins Gate Zero is almost as good, and it's a really interesting prequel, sequel type of thing going on. So there you have the list, and I hope you found one that you're going to try out, whether it's a short one, whether it's a more time sink one like Steins Gate or 999. I hope I found a path for you. I was a skeptic about the visual novel genre as a whole, but let me tell you, with the Nintendo Switch now, there is a lot more access to it. Not all of them are just stuck on PC, so have at it. Enjoy your time. Don't be afraid to be a little emotional, and, well, if this list does well, maybe I'll make a different one down the line. Until then, don't stop reading and gaming.